All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry it took so long to make this mango wine part 2. Do you remember why?
I do remember.
Why?
You had all that wine all over the floor because you almost ruined the kitchen with wine.
Oh yeah, make sure you watch those 2 videos. They're hilarious.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I guarantee it's made in China.
But we got 15 bottles of wine out of this mango batch, and I'm going to show you how we finished it up. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you want to taste it?
I can't wait to taste
She
it.
can't wait
My
to
favorite
taste
part.
it.
As though I am far from home, home is not far from me. And one day you know I hope to bring you there with.
Look at this mango wine. It is settling nicely. So was that a disaster or what? Part 1, going into part 2, you saw where I cracked one of these things. Piece of junk. But I got a second batch started. And we're back up to part 1. Now we're going to do something a little bit different here because I want to show you and I want to test different agents on this. I've had this in the basement for about 3 weeks. Normally I'm going 30 to 45 days, but I want to test some filtering and see how fast I can get this to clear up. And yes, you may have seen this little jar here. When I started this second batch, I had a little extra, and it's nice to have these little containers around, and this will help top it off. Topping wine. So we fast forward on the mango wine, the filtering of the racking of the second time. I hope you watch that video because it's going to show you the test of these different methods to refine it. So obviously, each one of these different methods produced a different result. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these all back into a 3-gallon carboy and rack this and get that sediment out. And then I'm going to use that super clear to finish it up. And 24 hours later, we will be ready to bottle this. I can't wait. Okay, so now we're ready to rack our 3 1-gallon batches of mango wine into the 3-gallon carboy. Again, I'm just doing this because of the test I was doing. Make sure you're watching that test because you'll see who wins as far as easier ways to rack your wine and filter and refine it. So let's just get this into the 3-gallon carboy, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So I got my 3 1-gallons back into my 3-gallon jug, and you can see because of the sediment we took out, I got a little bit of headspace. That's no worries. If you have the same kind of wine, you can add a bottle here, but this is so minimal. I'm only going to fill it up to about here with water, so that's okay. Go ahead and just fill it up with some water. As long as you're not putting in like a gallon, this will be fine. It's probably like 1 bottle of wine, I'm guessing I would probably be putting in here. But I tell you one thing, if you could smell this, it smells amazing. Let's just get this airlock and we'll get to the next step. I hope you can see the color of this mango wine. It is spectacular. And that filtering did some, but we're gonna finish it up right now with some super clear. So there we go. Got this opened up. And we'll just add this to there. All right, so I got my sanitized paddle here. We sanitized this thing, and I'm just gonna stir this in. It says to stir it vigorously. I'm not sure what that really means, but we'll give it a good stir. And you want to reverse directions on this as well. This is going to charge your particles. And then when we add the Cheeto sand, that's going to charge more particles. And it literally will draw it to the bottom. I hope you watch my video on testing these different refining agents because I was so impressed with this. And we'll get our airlock back on here and we'll come back in at least 1 hour. I might have said 24 hours early. It's 1 hour later. You add the Cheeto sand. Always sanitized too. There we go. See you in 1 hour. All right, so it's been 1 hour since we put that kilosol in. Now we want to put the chitosan or chitosan. I don't know how you say it, but it says to dissolve. Put this in 2 tablespoons of warm water. So that's what we're going to just add this in here, and we'll stir this up a little bit. So there we go. Let's just give this a gentle stir, and it says to put it in here very slowly for the next 30 seconds. So that's what we're gonna do. And I won't bore you with this, but assume it takes 30 seconds. There we go. Remember, this was for a 5 to 6 gallon batch, so I'm not gonna put quite all of it in. I still may have to take a little bit out of here, but now we wanna get our sanitized paddle and stir this gently. All right, so I got this sanitized. I left it on there for about a minute, and we're just gonna stir this in. I got it a little bit full. Hopefully it don't overflow here. And the thing that's great about this is this will be ready in 12 to 48 hours to rack and bottle. I can't wait. And I think that's pretty good. Let's get the airlock on, and we'll be back in 24 to 48 hours to take a look at this. It's gonna happen fast. Sanitize airlock. Make sure you got the proper water level here, right about in the middle for this. Look at this MangoWine. It's been in this Liquor Quick or this Super Clear. I'll have links in its description here. But do you see how clear this is? This is just after 48 hours. It is ready to bottle, and I can't wait to taste it for sure. So let's get everything prepared. Let's get some sanitizer mixed up. Let's get our back-sweetened sugar mixed in, and let's get right into bottling this MangoWine finally. So this is what you're going to need for the bottling stage. Some Campden Tablets, some sugar to back-sweeten, and potassium sorbate to stabilize your wine. Now, since we're gonna back sweeten this, we wanna get some sugar dissolved to make a simple syrup. I'm gonna use 1 cup per gallon. So since this is a 3 gallon batch, I'm gonna start with 3 cups of sugar. So here we go, I got my 3 cups of sugar, and we're gonna add this here. And then we're gonna add 3 cups of water to make our simple syrup. Now, we just want to stir this until it's crystal clear and all this sugar is dissolved. That will be our simple syrup to use for this MangoWine. We love it semi-sweet, so that's what I'm going to be shooting for in this video. Just don't make sure you burn your sugar because it's just going to give your wine some off taste. All right, here you go. You can see it's just about boiling, but more important, we're crystal clear. It's time to get this heat shut off and let it cool to room temperature before we can put this into our wine. So now it's time to get some sanitizer mixed in because you want to sanitize everything in this hobby. You hear me say it day in and day out on this channel. It's very important. If you're going to fail, it's because you didn't sanitize. So we're going to mix up our sanitizer, get some corks sanitized, and definitely get our bottles sanitized. And then we'll be able to rack this, add some of our sweetener, taste it, and get it in our bottle. For every gallon of wine, you're gonna need about 5 wine bottles. So I got 15 bottles on this rack right now. And make sure you're sanitizing your corks. These will make it a lot easier to go into your bottles, plus you're sanitizing them. It's time to get our additives into our bucket here. We're gonna start with Campden Tablets because we want 1 per gallon in here just to help sanitize our wine. I'm gonna use 2 spoons here to crush them up. And then what we'll do is we'll rack the wine on top of these additives. It just helps get it mixed up a little better. And there's 3. Now, let's add our potassium sorbate. Potassium sorbate is going to be our stabilizer. Since we're back sweetening this wine, we don't want to blow corks. So this is a must. If you have a completely dry wine, you don't need to add this, but we want a 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. So I'm going to use 3/2 teaspoons of this. So it's time to get this racked into our muck. I got my bucket down there with the additives. We're going to take off this airlock. I got my racking cane here. I'm going to just put the hose down in my bucket and we're just gonna start a siphon. I can't believe how clear this wine is. This is just amazing to me. How that liquor quick or liquor clear or whatever, it works amazing. I got this going down in my bucket. Now, one thing we wanna do you see how clear this is? We don't wanna get to that stuff on the bottom. I don't want any of that in my wine. So we're gonna stay as far away as we can, because if you waste a little wine in this stage, that's okay. And that's it. So you can see it's very little waste, but you don't want to get this stuff into your wine, your finished product. So you can see as soon as this was done racking, I covered it up because you want to keep as much oxygen out in this stage as possible. If you're not sure about when you need oxygen, make sure you're watching that oxygen video. I'll put a link in the description. But remember, we put them additives at the bottom of this bucket. So we want to stir them at this point. I got my sanitized paddle over here. I just sanitize. And we're just gonna gently, you don't want to get a lot of bubbles in here. We're just gonna gently stir this in before we back sweeten. And that's when the fun begins, because we can finally taste this. So I got my simple syrup. And remember, this was 3 cups of sugar and 3 cups of water dissolved. So I can tell you from experience, I'm probably gonna need all this. But you wanna do it slowly. Make a little bit, stir it, and taste it. I know my wife likes it sweet. She's not here to taste it today, but she's gonna get what I give her. Now, I just take a straw, sanitized straw, and I'm gonna put some in this cup, and I'm just gonna taste it. I know it's gonna be dry yet. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. For me, that would be good, but I know it's not enough for her. And it definitely needs a little more sweetener. So let's just add a little bit more here and stir that in. Now, taste this. This is what's fun. This was what makes this hobby great. You're making wine, mango wine, the way you want it. I know it's not sweet enough for her though. I'm just gonna put the whole thing in because I know what she likes. Also, I got a whole video of back sweetening your wines. That is perfect. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I can't wait for her to try this. She's got to work late tonight, but I can't wait for her to try this. So I got my bottle tip on here and I got the siphon going and we're gonna just fill these bottles. Look at this color. Now you'll see that sanitizer, it'll get forced out as we go. So don't worry about it. It is safe in its diluted form. Now, one thing you didn't see me do is remember when I was back sweetening this wine, a lot of people don't like sweet wine. So you could bottle a couple dry and then do a semi-sweet or a sweet, and you can have multiple different sweeteners in here, whatever you like. All right, it's time to get these corked up. 15 bottles of wine we're gonna get out of this. I love this corker. Don't try and take it from me. Again, I got links in the description for everything you're gonna see in my video. Oh, and after you've seen that sanitizer and some of the wine come out over these bottles, make sure you're wiping down your wine with sanitizer. It's just gonna make sure you don't get any bacteria, and it keeps everything clean. You want to look like a professional in this hobby. And make sure you're storing your wine on their side for the first 7 to 10 days, because you want to make sure your corks are not leaking and there's no mishaps. So I highly recommend this. I do it every single time just because before I put these down in my rack, I want to make sure there's no leaks. You got it, honey?
I think.
She thinks she has it. But look at these 2 glasses. Do you see how clear this wine is? So here it is. The taste of the mango wine. Remember, you saw me taste this earlier. My wife had to work the late shift tonight to pay the bills. I'm ready to taste it again. And she's ready for the first time. So, mango wine. It is incredible. You gotta try and make this. You didn't cheers.
Sorry. Ooh. Oh my. Oh, I really like it.
Oh my God. You know what? It kind of tastes a little bit like the banana at the end.
The only reason, the creaminess. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
that's what I was
getting
going
that
to
creaminess.
say.
This is only going to get better as
my
it
goodness.
ages.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to last that long, though. I like this fruit wine between the months of 3 to 6 months. I just think that's when it's the most flavorful. We got wines that are a lot older than that, but that's just my recommendation.
It's really good.
It's good, isn't it?
I love it.
Until next time, make sure you...
Like, subscribe, and click that notification bell.
Oh, yeah. Until next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Do you believe that?
No. How did you get it cleaned up so good?
I was just, when you left today, I said, why is all our scissors sticky and stuff?
Oh my
I had
God.
to take everything out of the cupboard today.
I would have had a heart attack if I'd have been home. I would have literally had a heart attack. I'm having a heart attack watching it.